Okay, so yesterday I went to a store with Adam, and he stayed in the car. And it's a well-known pharmacy. Okay, but I wasn't there for pharmacy. It's got a store along with it. And so I walked in, and I was greeted, as I walk in the door. The cashier says, welcome to the store. And I look at her, and there's another employee standing next to her behind the counter. And so I go up to, when I go up to the cashier, nobody else is around, nobody. Okay, so at this point, I am looking in my purse for my credit card. And I'm still looking at my purse, and I start to speak as I'm looking in my purse to the cashier, and the employee standing next to her says, "You will have to wait," in that voice. Now, my response was immediately, my brain processed it, and it was to just zip up my purse and walk out. Walk out the store. And I said, no. This was an anger trigger I need to pay attention to and go through with the whole transaction. Okay. Now, the cashier was a young woman. The woman standing next to her was apparently an assistant manager or manager. I'm not sure. She was, between our ages. And I was still looking in my purse, and I was, doing that counting to 12 gazillion. And I was giving myself time to calm down, to calm that anger it triggered in me down. They might have been thinking I was minding her. Okay, but no, I wasn't minding her. So then when it didn't take that long for me to calm myself down, I started speaking as if she had said nothing. And they weren't talking or anything, by the way, when I walked up there. And she told the young woman to move aside. And when she did, I told the young woman, the cashier, I spoke to her, like I said. And I said, I am the customer. Just like that. Okay, and at that moment, I saw the assistant manager and manager. She snapped. She got it. She was wrong. Okay, but then I looked up at her, and she had this look on her face, like, that narcissistic smirk, they call it. Yeah, and she has a job. She can lose it quite easily, especially in these days. You don't want to be doing stuff like that to customers, right? But that is so common. I have, said before, so common here. Yeah. Okay, now, you might think it's a me thing. No, it's a here thing. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I live in what I call Narcissismville. I know a lot of people think that it's the same where they live and everything. This place, I have known of its reputation, and the more I think about it, I think it's at least since the 1980s. And it has a reputation, okay? Since then. I'm not talking about, just something I made up. It had a reputation for this, for people having a high sense of entitlement. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. I can go outside of here, and it's different. It's very different. But the closer you get to here, the more it becomes this way, okay? So back to the story. I say that the woman's, her whole demeanor changes, and she becomes the older one, she handles my transaction, and she's being very polite, and yes ma'am, and doing this kind of thing, and she says, well, thanks for shopping with us, and all this stuff, and I don't say a word. And then the door is right there. So I start to walk toward the door after the transaction's completed, and I say, rude. I'm walking out the door. Yeah. Okay, so I get into the car, and I tell Adam the SUV, and I tell Adam what happened. He was like grinning, but I don't know if I mentioned this, but I'm doing these little clips, but when I looked up at that, the manager or assistant manager, wherever she was, the young woman, the young cashier, she looked like a really sweet person, but she was grinning. She probably was thinking, to me, she would have been thinking, it's about time somebody told her off. But yeah, so I told Adam, he was laughing, he was a good going, that kind of thing. But this is me. This is how I am. I do have gumption, and I don't allow people to speak to me that way, And it's not me having a sense of entitlement, you could say it is, to be treated as a human, But no, you don't treat customers that way. I was raised in an era where you don't treat customers that way. Okay? There's no need for anybody to feel that they deserve something, because it's just, you're there to do business, you're paying them, not the other way around. So nobody would be rude. They had good customer service skills. No longer. Not in this area. But I'm telling you, I can go outside of this area, like I just said earlier. It's very different. So I would tell people to multiply what they experience by 1,000. Anytime bad, by 1,000. That's how different it is. Okay, now I would be exaggerating if I said it was everywhere here. Okay, no. In fact, this area, not so much. But yeah, it's pretty common to see it. I've seen it happen to other people. I remember the last time I was in a store and the woman in front of me, she went off big time, and you could tell that usually she was probably a very dignified person, and it just hit her really, really bad. And the more she thought about it, the angrier she became. That somebody where's the customer service? And somebody would treat her that way no matter what. You don't do that to people. You don't, you have to wait. To somebody. No. Okay, but I could tell multiple stories about things like that, because this is, like I said, Narcissismville. And like I said, not this area right here, but where I live. Yeah, and now I want to talk about trigger. How it triggered some anger and why it triggers my anger. And I'll start this off by saying that this is a new memory of mine. I have kind of like forgotten some things that I had studied years and years ago. And I remember this. And it was about people who, one of the arguments it had against borderline personality disorder years ago was that it seemed to target women. Okay? And this thought that women hang on to their anger longer. Now, I don't have borderline personality disorder. I do know people who do have borderline personality disorder. But I don't. I don't meet the criteria. And so, back whenever it was an argument about this, I even questioned, because some, kinds of anger, they don't let something go as easily as whom? Was a question. Should you really just let go of stuff that is, something like that? Is it right to just let it go? And a lot of people say you have to pick your battles. Now I can say that I was in a situation where the battles I was having to pick were much bigger. And yeah, I can say somebody has something like that and they hold on to it. It's petty. But that's you. If you don't have something big going on, that to you might be big. As it is, you see. And it is an issue. It's an issue when, to me, that if a person just lets something like that go, what are you doing to yourself? This is just my opinion. Remember, read the disclaimer below. I'm not a healthcare professional provider. But if you just let something like that go, and what are you doing to yourself by allowing people to treat you in any way that they want? Now, I'm not saying go ballistic on them or anything like that, postal as they used to call it. But calmly state the fact. You see, that's what I am trying to teach myself to do. Not to let that anger just take over me, because then I'm diabetic, insulin resistant type 2. I will start shaking. I'll get so, let it get to me. But I'm trying to teach myself to not let it get to me that deeply. Well, I'm still waiting. And one thing I learned, after that we went somewhere else, to some other place that we were going to. And doing whatever we were doing there, I just basically, the thought of what happened went out of my mind. And whenever I remembered it, while we're still there, I noticed that it just, that it was because I handled it it wasn't sticking with me. Does that make sense? Now, if I hadn't handled the situation, if I had let it go on, or if I had just walked out and didn't resolve it, there's the thing, that there was some kind of closure there. By me stating fact, I am the customer. Okay? By me standing up for myself, by me telling myself to count to 12, that kind of thing, all of those, it was putting me back in a balance, you see? It wasn't me getting so angry that I walked out. Me getting so angry that I told them off, really mean, hateful kind of thing. It was me handling a situation, and then I could move on, from that situation. Now, of course, I'm making a video, and you say, well, maybe you didn't let it go, But no, I wanted to make a video and see, to say what I did, and I'm monitoring my own issues with anger and how I'm handling them. So this is something therapeutic for me. And to see my own, how I progress. The more that I'm aware of it and the more that I learn to handle it. Anyway, that's enough for this video for now. I've got another place to go to, and I'll probably make another video for another day. Talk to y'all later. Bye.